So it was like a Thursday night, and I had just finished watching The Mummy Returns, and then I watched The Mummy. I don't know if I'm the only one who watches that series like out of order. I don't know why. I just like doing that. The Freevee TV app where I was watching this series, it initiated like a playback of the movie Happy Feet without like me even choosing it. And at the time, I was unemployed, so I was like, hey, let's pull an all-nighter and let's just watch it for background noise, you know? One of the perks of being unemployed is that you can spend your time as you want. At least that's how you have to reframe it for yourself instead of focusing on the frustration of the lack of funds. But before I knew it, I had written a blog post about the movie and its themes. Like, the themes to me relate to society's acceptance of different people, taking action against the crowd's like monopoly, like what the crowd is thinking, like cultivating your gifts, even if it's outside of the norm in your community. Like, if your gifts are supposed to be this thing and that's what everybody does, but yours may be different, there's nothing wrong with that. So, also, another theme that I noticed was like us analyzing information and not just accepting propaganda. I think that's very important right now, especially with Jupiter and Gemini. There's a whole lot of that going on. But we should reach our conclusions for ourselves as we lead our lives. So I'll share some of the views from the post, and my hope is that it will help you to take a stand against groupthink and hone in on your superpower. And if you haven't watched Happy Feet and you need a refresher, here are some of the main characters. So there's Mumble. He's the main character of the movie. His talent is dancing. The elders, the older penguins, they only wanted to sing. That was their custom and their way of living, so they opposed any new customs, including Mumble's dancing. Gloria was Mumble's crush, and she sings really well. And the new amigos, a group of penguins from a different tribe who don't sing, they collect items. I just know Gloria because she sings so well, grew up in like a church choir environment or something. She sings really good. So the first theme that I noticed was the parental influence on identity. So our parents and the environment we grew up in shape our identities, beliefs, and personalities. Parents and others in our early years can shame us if we're different from what they know. So this is to ensure we fit their scope of what is normal in the family clan. And in the movie, dancing was Mumble's natural talent, but his tribe of penguins only sings to their gods for an increased food harvest. That's the only thing they do. And his papa was really critical of Mumble's dancing. And I suspect it was because deep down, he knew that he might be responsible for Mumble being different. And I say this because at the movie start, the mother penguins go to get food. They leave the baby egg with the fathers to hibernate in the winter. And Papa caused the penguin egg with Mumble inside to drop in the winter. So this potentially may have led to Mumble's defects. And this theme illustrates sometimes how parents influence their children's acceptance of their uniqueness, because that was a great opportunity for the Papa and Mumble to bond. And instead of shaming him every time he danced, say, hey, you know what? He's different. He was nurtured differently as he was in that egg. So his skills are going to be different. So we have to grow to love and accept Mumble as he is. But it made me think about sometimes parents criticize us for traits that we inherited from them. almost as if they see a part of themselves in you. And I thought that was a really great example or analogy for how the movie was. So while the papa doesn't have the dancing skill, he was directly responsible for the lack of nurturing an environment that Mumble's egg grew up in, because he wasn't paying attention, and that's how the egg was dropped. And if you think about it, even if there's traits that aren't inherited from our parents, there are also environmental causes that may affect how a child is born and how that child thinks and how they have grown up to be. So there's a lot of different ways, but who our parents are that bring us in the world can directly affect who we are. And the quicker we accept that, the quicker we can move forward. Even if you have parents that you don't get along with, or parents that you see some qualities that you don't want to embrace, or parents that you love, know that it's all going to either be directly tied to you, or you're going to see it in your behaviors and things. Like, for example, let's say that a set of parents face criticism for being sensitive when they were young. So now, when they see their child becoming upset at the slightest things, they may shame that child for it. And that's what they know due to their experiences. But they brought you into this world. So instead of criticizing, they should help nurture your talent, even if it's different from what they expected or hoped for. Who knows, that sensitivity can help the child in a job that needs emotional intelligence. And I believe a lot of jobs are going to need that in the future. But that's another conversation. But if we shame younger relatives for being different, they may in turn shame others. So making each generation kinder and more considerate of others one step at a time is the goal, and I believe future policies will reflect this kindness all over the world. Another theme is being unique and how it's not a crime. You can't let others stop your shine. And in the movie, Mumble grows up a bit out of step with the fellow students, like in his graduate class. And remember, his primary skill is dancing. So all of the courses aim to find and improve the students' singing voices. So each student has a unique singing voice, and the movie did a great job illustrating the concept. So some of the penguins sang hip-hop influences, R&B, and pop. It was a lot of fun. Definitely keeping me up, because remember, I was doing the all-nighter. When Mumble tried to sing, his voice was croaky, and it was not pleasant to hear. Everybody wanted him to stop as soon as he started. The other students and the teachers had declared that there was something wrong with him. But sometimes what society sees as wrong is right for your journey in life. Another theme that I noticed was taking the first leap, even if no one will take it with you. So being different can lead to new experiences, and while others hesitate to change, you will leap. At the young penguins' graduation, everyone stood up on top of a mountain, and they waited anxiously to jump into the water, which is the last step of the ritual, similar to how as young adults, when we graduate, we take our tassel and we put it to the next side, and then we throw our hats up at graduation. So that's the penguins' way of completing their ritual. But Mumble slid off the cliff into the water. So the other penguins, they were still at the top, like all looking over, like, I'm not about to go over. And they were waiting to see if he had hurt himself or drowned. But then he jumps up in the water saying, "What you waiting for? Like, what's going on? Why y'all still standing up there?" And then the other penguins followed suit. So I just took that as sometimes you must be the first to leap, and groupthink can limit your experiences. Another important theme that I took from the movie was just about meeting your tribe of freaks who appreciate your idiosyncrasies. So on Mumble's adventure away from his home tribe, he ran into penguins from another tribe, and they have a group name. They're called the New Amigos. And the new penguins complimented his dancing. So can you imagine how validating that was for Mumble? People had told him all his life that his dancing was wrong and weird. But I love these new penguins. They uplifted him several times in the movie. And I believe that their influence on his confidence helped him develop even more courage for what he ends up doing later in the movie. And we'll talk about that soon. But there's another example of a conversation in which the amigos praised their new friend Mumble that I really liked. It made me giggle. The new amigos penguin group, they go, you show them what you've got. Either you've got it or you don't. And the amigos, we've got it. And Mumble is like, you think I can get some of it? And the new amigos are like, hombre, you got so much already. You dangerous, baby. With moves like yours, you must have all the ladies wanting you. And I just thought that was so cute, because he's never been praised for his dancing before, so it warmed my heart. Another example of his friends just going with the flow and embracing his clumsiness, as opposed to his other tribe. They would always laugh at him if he fell or did anything. On their journey, Mumble falls down a hill. And the new amigos, they don't laugh or judge him. Instead, they say, man, this guy is so accidentally cool. And then they jump and slide down the hill following his lead. And then they go and have a good time. So I love that. It's so important to, as we are building ourselves and improving ourselves and working towards our goals and our dreams, cultivating a community that inspires you, that motivates you, that accepts you, makes just the world of difference. I believe it's really hard to work towards your dreams without some of that positive influence and people affirming you as you move forward in life. Another theme, are you open to the future if it looks different from what you envisioned? So Mumble returned from an adventure with the new amigos. So he wanted to know why his home tribe's food supply was not as good as it had been before he left. He told the people what he had learned from his adventure, and dancing could get the zoo researchers' attention. So he learned about the zoo, the researchers, he learned about this, and dancing seemed to really get their attention while they're on the boats and while they're looking. It seems to catch their eye. And he was thinking those people, or those aliens, that's what they call us humans. I have no problem with that. Sometimes I feel that some of us are aliens and not fit to be on this planet Earth, but hey, that may be the Aquarius moon energy. But he was thinking that the zoo researchers could help with their food supply. So he's expressing himself, he's telling this to the tribe. And then the elders were disgracing the penguins when they came together to dance and try the new way of living that Mumble recommended. They could see the people were hungry and needed food, but they wanted to keep singing to their gods, hoping it would end the famine, because that's all they know. But here's a crazy idea. If what you're doing isn't working, why not try a new approach? It might help your situation. And also, older people from generations ago may not trust the future vision. Their older ways of living kind of blind them to the possibilities. And that doesn't have to be something viewed as negative, because we all are going to get older. That's the cycle of life. So we should heed their wisdom, but while seeking new outcomes as we move forward, we have to value progress over stagnation. And remember the famous quote, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Another theme, I know I'm taking a lot of time, but I'm almost done, guys. But the movie was just so interesting to me. I probably could write a few more pages. I actually had to edit this down a lot more just to get it as short as I possibly could. But the other theme was about religion. So, how religion can be a tool for mind control. If you cannot question it and must follow it without thinking, that's dangerous. And Mumble was a very curious penguin. He always asked questions and he had odd theories that went against his tribe's accepted views. And he was willing to ask things about things that didn't make sense. So no one had asked those questions that he asked before. The elders continuously reverted to their ways, ignoring his questions. And some people in your religion or community may not respond well to your questions. They want to maintain the status quo, or they feel satisfied with their shallow understanding of a problem. They may feel embarrassed for not digging deeper themselves, so they may want to dig in their heels just to prove you wrong. All of us have egos and things like that. But the elders blamed Mumble's birth for the famine that hit after he graduated. When Mumble challenged them, they said, what else could cause food scarcity? As if the only thing that could cause a phenomenon such as that would be due to someone being born as a dancer, not a singer. Many things could have caused the food scarcity. You need to be curious and willing to research other causes if your goal is to find a solution to the problem. And Mumble blames like a distant, alien-like domino effect. Because remember, he saw the zoo and the researchers. And it was due to his experience leaving that penguin tribe that he had that information. And the elder penguins argued against that. They just did not believe it caused the famine. And in this fight, the elders slapped one of the new amigos and called him vermin. And they're all penguins, so this didn't make sense to me. I'm like, what is he doing? But then I thought about, well, how doesn't that sound familiar? Aren't we all human but choose to classify ourselves by race, social class, etc.? And group thinking, like in a religion or a class system, can be dangerous because it can blind you to others' humanity. So you put yourself on a pedestal and look down on people who don't look like you or don't believe what you believe, when we all came into this world and we all will leave it in death. So we should treat everyone with equal respect. And in the movie, as an example of a person devoted to a religion that doesn't allow questioning, is in the New Amigos tribe, they all revered a godlike figure named Lovelace. And they gathered random items and gave them the Lovelace, and in return, he answered their questions. And the penguins usually wait in line to ask him a question, and then Lovelace puts on a show and provides them with an answer that he is really inventing at the moment. The Lovelace guy claimed to have all the answers for his tribe members, but he got offended when the new amigos introduced him to Mumble. Mumble then asked a question he couldn't answer about the food famine, and he then shut down the line service and went into hiding. And I'm like, see, doesn't that sound familiar about some religions that we know? In 2 tribes, the leaders forbade questioning, and this stifled problem solving and created a dependence on religion among the people. So let's respect our beliefs, but also treat others with an open mind. If your religion wants you to look down on others and not ask questions, it may be time to review the need for that religion. I don't want to shake the table too much, but we got to keep it 100, okay? Another theme that I noticed was about how thinking outside the box can at first be uncomfortable for some. In the movie, the penguins and Mumble's tribe decided to rebel against the elders and try something new. The elders had warned dissent leads to division and division leads us to doom. And I'm like, dang, that's just a negative and dramatic way of thinking. But I know some people like that. I won't call their names out, but I know some people that automatically go to what's the most horrible thing that can happen in everything they think about in life. And sometimes they can give that energy and try to spread that over your plans and your dreams, and you cannot let that happen, okay? But isn't that thinking like some of the people in charge when you present an alternative option to the way of doing things? Think about the last time you suggested a solution at your job. Was it well received or was it immediately turned down? Was the idea approached with curiosity or automatic disdain? And division in thought processes can lead us to better outcomes. Look at the world's history. Without different thinking to oppose the Hitlers and the KKKs, we would live in a very different world. And who knows if I'd be alive to even write this or even record this podcast episode. But even outside of race, consider that we have airplanes, Netflix, and electricity. And these are all benefits from innovators who thought against the crowd. So another theme that I liked was about how being different is actually courageous, especially in this world. And in the movie, Mumble showed bravery throughout on several occasions. He went to save Lovelace from the killer whales. It would have been way safer to stay away and watch him die, and that would have been more understandable. Okay, I'm not sure if I would have. gotta be honest, but he volunteered to find out who was eating his tribe's fish and how it tied to the aliens, aka the humans. His friends didn't want to go any further after their narrow escape from the killer whales, and also Mumble decided to go anyway, even though his new friends didn't want to go. And sometimes being fearless looks like craziness at first, because the new amigos certainly thought Mumble was crazy and they let him know. But without courage, your dreams will remain unrealized. So embrace the fear and do it trembling as long as you do it. And last theme, I know you guys are like, how long is this girl gonna talk? I could talk for hours, but we won't do that to y'all today. The last theme I noticed was just about how being yourself can save your life. So the dancing talent for which the others in his tribe, definitely picked on him about as he grew up, ended up saving his life and saving his loved ones. Because after his adventure where he decided to continue going forward after the killer whales scene, he got captured by the zoo and they placed him in the zoo. But the human visitors, or the aliens, loved his dancing. So he became the zoo's favorite, and this led to research on him and his species to find his birthplace, and they ended up saving his people. So by not being yourself, you're literally threatening the vitality of your life. So you can still have a life and fit in and make sure you do everything that the society tells you to do and follow the group and never challenge yourself. But is that really a life worth living? I don't think so. But I'll leave that up to you to decide for yourself. So in conclusion, you guys are ready for me to finish. With the popularity of shorts, I know long videos are not the cool thing right now. I do like to read Reddit reviews while watching movies It's fun when a commenter points out something you didn't notice, or they sum up the movie in a unique way. There was a Reddit commenter that said, what sets you apart is your superpower. And if you feel differently from your family or your coworkers, don't assume something is wrong with you. You don't have to fit in with their views. Instead, reframe it. Affirm that this is the beauty of being human. Each of us have experiences, we have skills, we have mindsets, innate gifts that make us superhuman. You can have friends and you can have a community, but always improve yourself to enhance that group's potential. And to stick with movie examples, in the Marvel universe, the Avengers are superheroes. So they fight villains and they save the world. Each Avenger possesses power, and they each bring something different to the table at the Stark Tower. Captain America doesn't think like Iron Man because they have lived in different eras. They literally have lived in different eras. But it doesn't mean that either person is wrong. It can improve the group's effort to save the universe. Their unique views will make them consider their actions from all angles, and that is a benefit, a plus. I'll leave you with these 5 things to reflect on and remind yourself in moments where you're a bit nervous about being a little different from others around you. Always identify that superpower that makes you different and never forget it. Always challenge your tribe's status quo. It keeps things fresh and new. None of us like stale fruit. None of us like stale food. It's much better when we keep things fresh. Question everything taught to you. Especially beware of defensiveness and shame after questioning. So this may be a sign that you need to question more and think for yourself. Find your soul tribe. They will encourage you to dance to your tune, not force you to dance to theirs. And reflect on a time when you embraced your uniqueness. How did it change your perspective? What was your mood that day? Were you loving yourself? Were you positive thinking? Were you excited? Those are the feelings that I get when I actually embrace myself and not shame myself, because I'm not out here singing like the penguin tribe, and I'm instead a dancer like Mumble. If you have enjoyed listening to this episode, join the rest of the Growth Inspired Tribe and subscribe to my newsletter. By doing this, you'll get notified on each new episode, access to my latest blog post, and extra goodies such as motivating screensavers, checklists, and much more. I can tell you right now, I will not be sending out notifications daily, so don't worry. Let's embrace this journey called life together and grow into the fantastic human beings we were always destined to be.